What's up guys, Mike from Rockville, and today we are looking at the new series of 70 volt wall volume controllers. They're available in 3 different colors of black, white, and stainless steel, and each color is also available in 2 different power ratings of 35 watts and 100 watts. These wall controllers will give you the ability to control the volume of 70 volt and 100 volt speakers running off a single zone amplifier, or if you have a multi-zone amplifier, you can take a couple of these and then control the volume of those zones independently. And because this is 70 volts, you can use it with any brand that makes 70 volt products like JBL amps and speakers, or of course Rockville. Now I have the black 100 watt wall controller in front of me. Let's open this up and see what's inside. Okay, so right here is the actual knob portion of the controller. This knob is a precise and accurate 11-step controller, with one position being true off and max volume being 10 steps above that. Now also in the box we have the black faceplate to match the knob. This goes right over and just clicks into place. This whole unit is a standard single 1 gang size, so it's the same size as common light switches and outlets. I do want to note that we recommend mounting this volume controller into a backless junction box so it gets adequate ventilation. But if you are going to mount it into an enclosed box, we recommend one with a depth of about 3.5 inches. Now on the back of the controller we have our transformer as well as our quick disconnect Euroblock wiring terminals. Remember, in a 70 volt system, all of the wiring is parallel, so positive to positive and negative to negative, all the way from the amp to the last speaker. On our terminals over here, you'll notice in and out. The in is the wires coming from the amplifier, and the out is the wires going to your first speaker. Now, I mentioned before that these wall controllers come in 2 different power handlings of 35 watts and 100 watts. What that means is for the 35 watts controllers, they support any zone of 35 watts or less going into it. For the 100 watts controllers, they support any zone of 100 watts or less going to it. Now 70 volt speakers have a built-in transformer that allows you to change the amount of watts being drawn from the amplifier to the speaker, called a tap. The tap allows you to set the speaker to a specific wattage amount, and then you don't have to worry that the speaker will draw any more than its tapped amount. So if I tap a speaker at 5 watts, it will never draw more than 5 watts. So going back to the wall controllers, with the 35 watts controller, I can have any combination of 70 volt speakers tapped to a combined total of 35 watts or less. And for the 100 watts controller, any combination of speakers tapped to 100 watts or less. So let's talk in examples. If I'm using a single zone amplifier like our RCS80-1, I can combine it with our 35 watts volume controller. Then from the wall volume controller, I can go to any combination of 70 volt speakers tapped to 35 watts or less. So like 28 speakers tapped to 1.25 watts each. It gets even cooler when we use a multi-zone amplifier like our RCS350-6. On the back of the RCS350-6, there are 6 independent 70 volt outputs. I can have each of those zones go to 6 different volume controllers in 6 different rooms. So say I have a restaurant and I have different areas in this restaurant, like a main dining area, a bar area, an outdoor patio area, and a party hall. I can have my multi-zone amplifier somewhere out of the way, and then out of the zone outputs I can go into each of the different wall controllers and control the levels of the different rooms from there. It would also be similar to have a setup like this in my house, where I could have zone 1 be my bedroom, zone 2 be my living room, zone 3 be my kitchen, and so on. It's a convenient and easy way to not have to go all the way to your amp and turn up the levels every time. Instead, you could do it in the room. Now there are 2 things that you're going to want to keep in mind when you're using these wall controllers. The first thing is you want to make sure that all the zone volume knobs are set to about 75 to 80% up. You also want to set the master volume knob to about 75 or 80%. This will ensure that when you then send signal to the volume controller, it's the full signal. And remember, if you want to quickly raise or lower all the zones at once, you can do this with the master volume knob on the end. And secondly, you want to check the amount of wattage per zone on your amplifier and make sure the combined total tap speaker watts is not over the max amount of power that your amplifier can produce. These 70 volt wall volume controllers are a convenient way to control the level of signal going to your speakers without having to run to your amplifier every time. It's perfect for commercial use in restaurants, retail stores, and conference rooms, as well as in your home for personal use. So if you're looking for a practical way to control the volume from your 70 volt amplifier on your wall, take a look at our 70 volt wall volume controllers from Rockville. As always guys, I'm Mike from Rockville. I'll see you next time.